Hello. Yeah, I'm on. Mine is on.
Testing, testing. There you go.
Is it okay? We'll just leave it here in the middle so we can share it. Yeah. Hold on, give me a second here.
Just come here with one.
Okay. Okay. Did I just touch something? Go ahead. Good evening. This Trenton Board of Education is now open. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Yolanda Lopez.
Present.
Gerald Trueheart. Jean Bowie. Absent. Addie Daniels Lane.
Present.
Austin Edwards. Denise Johnson. Absent. Sasa Matanya. Here. Larry Trailer.
Present.
Jeannie Weeklam.
Present.
We have a quorum.
The New Jersey Sunshine Law. The New Jersey Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right to the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted on. On the rules of this act, the Trenton Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting by publicizing the date, time, and place, therefore posted on the webpage, the Times, and the Star Ledger. Formal action will take place at this meeting. Our mission statements. All students will graduate with a vision for their future, motivated to learn continually, and prepared to succeed in their choice of college or career. May I please have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Roll call. Yolanda Lopez.
Yes.
Gerald Trueheart. Jean Bowie. Absent. Addie Daniels Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards. Denise Johnson, absent. Sasa Matanya.
Yes.
Larry Trailer.
Yes.
Jeannie Weeklam.
Yes.
Motion passed.
At this time, we'll have the superintendent presenting our students and our HIP report. Superintendent?
All right, thank you. Welcome everyone on this beautiful fall or winter evening. Right before the holidays, we want to wish you all a happy holiday season. Just have a few announcements, and then we're going to get to our treat this evening. Just wanted to notice everyone that we are starting the attendance billboard campaign. It starts on January 6th. We're excited that we will be placing 3 to 5 billboards around the city. They'll be age appropriate, focusing on coming to school and encouraging parents to get their students to school, and encouraging students to come to school every day on time. Todos los días en tiempo. We are currently soliciting volunteers, so for any brave people who want to send a video message to our young people about coming to school, board members included, you will have an opportunity potentially tonight, right as we go to exec session, to share your quick message with students about how important. You'll do it as a group, so don't get stage fright. And the messages will be posted on the district website, schools, websites, and social media all over the district. We're trying to send a message about how important it is to be at school on time every day. The next announcement is regarding the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, beginning with the class of, the 23, 24 11th graders. It was announced last year that they would need to complete the FAFSA application. For anyone in here who's ever had to complete that process, it's daunting, particularly if you have never seen it or not sure about that process. So we had our first session last week with high school students and families. Around 150 families came, and we're starting to educate everyone about that process as a student component and a parent component with a lot of documentation, and it is required for the public. We want everyone to know it's required that you complete the process for graduation. There are 3 ways that you can complete this. One is to complete and submit the FAFSA application. The other is to complete and submit the New Jersey Alternative Financial Aid application. So there's an alternative application. And the third way to complete this process is to complete and submit the waiver form. So we state those over and over and over so that families and students and our public's not spooked about this large process, that there are 3 things that you can do. We will have 2 more sessions. Mrs. Grant, the dates are January 6th and January 24th, again with high school students and families at Trenton Central High School. That includes Capital City High School students and families also. But that doesn't keep you from calling your counselor. For those seniors and families listening, you can call your counselor, schedule a time to come and speak with them. We will continue to do this as we assess January. We will likely have opportunities for this process in February, then again in March, then again in April, as many times as it takes us to get everyone through it with some comfort. So just wanted to talk about that. As I mentioned at the last board meeting, we will be launching our Citizens Academy. We will send out applications through a Google form in January if you're interested in participating in this on the Citizens Academy. This is a great opportunity to interact with the board and district leadership to learn more about how the organization operates. Some of the goals included in creation of this Citizens Academy is to create better, engaged, and informed stakeholders, create awareness and understanding of the board decision-making process, familiarizing the public with the roles, responsibilities, services, and/or operation of district officials to build positive community involvement and interaction, and to hopefully inspire future board members about what being on a board of education is. We're often it's said we don't respond at a board meeting. There's some rules around responding. There are processes that we follow that we want to educate our public about, and hopefully have people more informed about how the Board of Education and district decision-making process works. I'll be a part of that academy also. The topics covered are things like budgeting. How do we balance a budget every year and produce it to the public and get approval? Harassment, intimidation, and bullying policy, safety and security procedures, board governance, board operations, creating and revising policies, and there's an ETC. There's so many other things that we can do, and we'll create those components as we start to get our people in and have our first session. We are expecting early February, late January. So the goal is to get involved and get individuals ready in that process. We are also launching our Where Are They Now series. That's the best title we could come up with, but the district will highlight the accomplishments of Trenton graduates. You get a Trenton diploma. There's so many people in this room and in our district, in our community, and in the world doing so many outstanding things, as we will see tonight from some of our cool third graders. So we want to highlight some of those. Our district is moving to highlight 2 to 3 individuals every quarter. We'll give information. We'll talk about where they came from. It could be as far as 20 years back. So we're asking you, if you know people, share it with us. And we're certainly willing to highlight their accomplishments and share it with the public. The other announcement is on June 16th. Tonight, we are continuing our Healing Heart series at 4 of our schools. That's already been promoted, but we're working with families in identifying strategies to support their children with mental health and social issues around at home, in school. So we're really bringing the family and the parents into this process and not just leaving it up to the students. It's a daunting task to raise yourself in this world. So we want to make sure we provide as many opportunities for families to ask questions and to get information to help at home. Tomorrow, Tuesday, January 17th, our parent coordinator, Denise Crease, will facilitate a parent seminar as a component of our parent empowerment series focused on external stressors impacting chronically absent students. This event will be held at Cadwallader Elementary School from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And we've had several of those, again, engaging parents in this process, giving them the tools to work with their young people away from school. Our Trenton basketball program, male and female, officially opens at home tomorrow, Tuesday, January 17th. Our boys' home opener is tomorrow versus Notre Dame at 5:30. Come out and support the Tornadoes. Our girls' home opener versus Lawrence is on Thursday. Girls are on Thursday, January 19th at 5:30 in the gym, so come out and support our students. The games and schedules are posted on the high school website for more information if you're interested. And tonight we have our Gregory Superstars, our third graders with the Gregory team. I want to make sure I get everyone. Principal Jeanette Harris, thank you for coming. Teacher Amanda Short and Teacher Colleen Babori. Welcome all three of you with our 3 superstars, which I think you will introduce and share with us our tonight's presentation with the board. Thank you. Press the button, Jeanette. There you go.
Good evening, board members and guests. My name is Todd Brown, and I am a 3rd grade student at Gregory. We came here to share our newsletter with you. The purpose of a newsletter is to share information. We are using our newsletter to inform you about some of the things we are learning at Gregory School. Each grade level and class created a page of the newsletter.
Hi, my name is Nina Salinas, and I'm in 3rd grade Gregory School. Usually a newsletter uses pictures and words to inform the audience. What makes the newsletter different is we use videos. Miss Sydney and Miss Claire came to our classrooms to teach us how to use clips to take video on our iPads. Then we interviewed each other about the things that we are learning and doing in school. Once we completed the interviews, the videos were put into a newsletter format using Pages, which is another app on our iPads. This was our first time doing something like this. It was fun. We are looking forward to creating another one at the end of 2nd marking period. We would now like to show you some of the finished products.
Today in science, we are learning about orangutans. They are going extinct because they're cutting their habitats to trees. They gotta stop cutting the trees.
My favorite book is Stanley because he was being bad, so he had to go to the summer camp, but he got tricked, so he gets the army.
I read Dogman and I liked it. I liked the stuff that's in the story, and it was about Dogman saving the city all the time. Because the last time they had the dog and the man were hit by a car, so then they replaced the dog with the man body, and then his name was Dogman.
It's Mercy. My name is Mercy Watkins, and she lived. Her neighbor stole my pig, so they were trying to get rid of her. And she likes to eat toast, buttered toast. This year I learned multiplication. This year I learned repeating subtraction. This year I learned division and multiplication.
I learned division because it's like multiplication.
So nice. Good job. Can you show me? What's that called?
Give me that.
Triangle? Good job.
Good evening. My name is Nassim Bryant, and I want to take a clip to use in our next newsletter. What will you be in our class for it?
Wants to know if it's okay if we take a clip for the next newsletter so that he can put all of it in. All right.
So if the board members would say hello as he comes around with the iPad.
Come here, honey. Go in clips. You got it, ready?
Yep. Turn it around. So
Turn it that way.
there you go. You're gonna go around and say, get everybody to say hello, their name, just wave.
You guys can just
You can speak, yes, please. You got yourself together. Thank you. Newsletter. Thank you.
Let's give our students another round of applause. So I know at the district, we're talking about TikTok opportunities and video opportunities, and you can see the students, third graders, are ahead of us because we wanted to start to publish some of the same type of work because we know that people in general watch videos. And so while we write our messages and we put lots of information out, I think it can be better said in a video. So we're excited to see this, and we may borrow some of the content here that helps. You all were outstanding. That's amazing. And to be brave and be able to do that. So we thank you so much. Thank you.
Superintendent, could I just ask a question? Will this be sent out to the families, to the parents? Will the newsletter be sent out to the... Wonderful.
Yeah, come on up and give us details.
Yeah.
There we go. Everyone in the school participated. This was our Apple school-wide project, and we plan to put one of these digital newsletters out after every marking period. So the kids will get to showcase what they're doing. They tell the story of the learning that's happening in the classroom, and like Mr. Earl said, we're at a point in time where everyone watches video. So all the parents will have this. Thank you.
I just want to say I was really impressed with the kids' reading skills for their grade level. That was really quite well done.
Thank you. That's a testament to the teachers at Gregory School. They work very hard. Thank you. We'll make sure we send Mr. Earl the finished product so you have it.
Thank you so much. So we're going to move forward with our next presentation. We have our annual School Safety Data System Report. It's the mid-year report on information regarding violence and vandalism. So we present this every year, and then we'll do it again in June. It's always interesting to see where we compare from year to year, but I was talking with Mr. Stokes earlier today about doing a 4-year comparison, go back 4 years, because we see a rise in some of our data this year, but would we see that from 4 years ago, or would we still see a steady decline? So, and we're gathering lots of data around the why we see an uptick, and we know in some of the neighborhoods how these things are connected. We don't see the large events, but we see smaller, multiple, over and over. And we're working with principals. What I was really most impressed about, and I'll let them get to the presentation, was in each of my conversations with our principals, they had a good sense of why this is happening and asked themselves and their staffs a lot of questions. And then they're planning on what do we do next to get our numbers back down or back to where they were or below where they were this time last year. But we're excited because we think this gives us a great opportunity to look at our culture, to make sure we're still pushing some of the initiatives that we put in place to see some of these numbers continue to go in the other direction. So with that being said, I'm going to allow Mrs. Grant and team, the attendance managers, will share the report, and then, of course, any questions that you have, you can share with them.
Good morning, board members. My name is Izelda Neptune. I'm the manager of school support for the elementary school level. So we're going to be talking about 3 different topics today. We're going to talk about the HIB investigations that we have. We're going to be also talking about the 24-25 first reporting period, school safety data system submissions that involves violence and vandalism and other suspensions. And we're also going to be talking about the 24-25 year-to-date suspension data.
So before I dive into the slide, I would like to note that every allegation is that is reported is required to be put on the HIP form 338. The numbers that we are reporting represent the allegations that did turn into investigations. So as you can see that in the year of 23-24, we had 6 investigations. And out of those 6 investigations, only 1 was founded. And so far, for the school year of 24-25, we'd had 7 investigations, and out of those 7 investigations, only 2 was founded.
So this is comparative of the same time period last year, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Damon Cleese. I'm the manager of school support for middle schools, secondary and intermediate. On this slide, you will see just a reporting of the violence and vandalism from this time last year compared to this year. As you see, last year was at 85 reports of violence and vandalism and 59 others, compared to the 124 of violence, vandalism, and 60 others, which is around about a 39 increase. 39 increase. And this is just a breakdown, as you can see, the comparisons from this year to last year's. We have the assaults and fights has risen, and the other suspensions are just around about the same.
Good evening. So before discussing this data, I think it's important to put things in context. I did have a conversation earlier with Mr. Earl, and while it's not included on this on this screen because I didn't have an opportunity to update it, I did want to give you the 23-24 or 22-23 numbers at least for this slide, so it kind of adds context to where we're going, and it allows us to see the type of progress that we're making. So in 22-23, the first reporting period, we've had 156 reported incidents of violence and vandalism, which outpaces where we are today. The suspensions of others, there were 63. So we see that there's still a decline from 2 years ago from where we are. The biggest numbers, though, is the number of suspensions that we had. This time, 2 years ago, we had 461 suspensions between the months of September and, December, right? So we can see that we are making progress. So the spikes that we see, again, it's about putting it all in context, right? And see that the work that we're doing around restorative practices, social emotional learning, that stuff is working. However, there is a need for us to do more, right? And to take that next step, particularly as it relates to restorative practices. Because in the conversations with the building administrators, what's happening is it's working, they're committed to it, they're doing it, and while the students are there in their presence, they're making progress. Once the students leave and mix with I'm gonna say general population because I don't have another quote, once they mix with other students and things are posted on social media or a friend says something, that's when we see the re-escalation of things. So then that next step in restorative practices is about how do we bring families into this process so that families can begin to be a part of helping us resolve some of the issues that starts outside of school but makes its way inside the school. And now it's labeled as a school issue when in actuality it's a community issue that made its way into school. So as we talk about restorative practices, the city was 2 years ago, the city was one of 4 municipalities throughout the state that was awarded a grant from the Juvenile Justice Commission to form these they are restorative justice hubs. So there's a restorative justice hub in the city of Trenton that just got kicked off finally last month. So and that is managed through the county, right? So in the conversations that I've had with the Director of Health and Human Services for the county, which oversees this project. It's about how can we now make this a place to be a community resource for our students and our families who are experiencing these issues, who go through the restorative practices here at the school, in one of our schools. But now we need to make sure that the community, right? Because restorative practice is about repairing a harm, right? And making people whole once again within the community. And how can we use that hub to be a resource for our families where we're seeing some of the repeat offenders or the repeat acts, of having to do this multiple times. So those are conversations that have begun and that will be ongoing. We also have to be mindful of the social media aspect of it and how we are utilizing social media. And that was one of the biggest issues with all of the building administrators that I had conversations with, is the stuff that's happening on social media. And it's no different than us as adults, right? We see what's happening, particularly here in 2024, how the level of toxicity and just how we get along with one another and social media has gotten out of control. We as adults, fortunately, have the ability to compartmentalize that stuff, what's real and what's just talk, whereas our young people don't have those skills and those abilities just yet, right? So as we are managing as a community how we deal with social media, we have to make sure that we are equipping our young people with those skills to be able to understand what's just talk on social media versus what's just real. And the last piece that came from conversation with our building administrators is sometimes our kids just want to fight. And that is a reality that we have to deal with. Sometimes they just want to fight. So we're putting all the work in, we're utilizing all the resources, but sometimes that issue to that young person is so deep that fighting is the only way that they know how to resolve it. So conflict resolution skills, continuing the investment that we made in restorative practices and managing social media. Those are the things that our schools, our building administrators are identifying as areas that we need to continue to improve upon. And I think I need to commend our schools on the work that the commitment that they have made to really buying into the district's move to restorative practices, right? Because we've been around for a while and we know that there have been initiatives that's been out there that have not been bought into. This is an initiative that our schools have definitely bought into. The three of us see it on a daily basis when we visit schools. And just so you guys can understand, it is a time commitment that the schools are making to this. They can spend hour, 2 hours in a restorative circle or in a restorative conference, just trying to bring some resolution to the issues. And it's also important to note that just because we've moved towards restorative practices does not mean that we're not going to have suspensions, right? We want to reduce the suspensions as much as we can, but sometimes a suspension is definitely warranted. So I just wanted to make sure that I stated that publicly, that our schools are definitely bought into it. There are issues that we still need to resolve, that we still need to work with, and we're committed to continuing and doing that work and bringing in outside partners to be able to help us in the areas in which we are struggling at, or which we don't necessarily have the resources or the capacity to be able to address at this particular point. And I think Mrs. Grant has a couple slides on this as well.
Are we able to ask questions before? Just 2 brief questions. What type of things are under other suspensions?
So those are things that fall out of the realm of violence and vandalism. So if we go back a slide, right? So
Yeah.
all of those. So the other suspensions are those behaviors. Those can be at the high school level, cutting class, leaving the school building, possession of a vape, right? Just because I have a vape does not mean that it's a drug and alcohol possession or usage, right? So if I have a vape, it's another suspension. One of the things that I have issues with is the quote-unquote disrespect, right? So a student may talk to an administrator in a particular way or talk to a teacher in a different way, and at that particular point in time, it's not really, restorative conferences is not really it. A student may get a suspension for that.
It falls under
So
that.
those are the things that fall underneath other suspensions.
Thank you. And then my other question is the restorative hub that you spoke about. Is that focused only on the city of Trenton, or is it a county-wide grant?
So the JJC, Juvenile Justice Commission, awarded the municipality of Trenton
Okay.
this particular grant, along with 3 other municipalities throughout the state of New Jersey. So it's not countywide at this point. It's only, those dollars are only to be used for City of Trenton residents.
So, but it is being led by the city, and we're a partner in that?
No, it's
or-
not being led by the city, it's
Oh.
being led by the county. So the funding came through the county, which contracted with an agency, with a vendor,
Got
to
it.
be able to provide, to run the hub.
Okay, so can you share?
So I'm sure that there's communication with the city, right? Because they wouldn't have created this
Right.
without having some conversation about what the need is.
Right.
But right now, we need to figure out how do we now get the district involved in that? Because I don't believe that there was
Yeah,
much
it's
conversation
essential.
with the district. And that's one of the things that the Director of Health and Human Services has spoke about is really how can they get into the district, right?
So
and it's a
we
referral basis.
have an MOU on the board agenda tonight
Okay.
for
I guess I
that
missed-
very, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Who is can you share who the vendor is that they chose, that you will be working with?
I know the initials.
is it Creative Change?
Creative Change,
Yes.
that is
Okay.
it. Yeah,
I
I
just
know it
wanted
was
to-
CC,
Yeah.
right? Creative Change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
All right, good evening. To just go along with what Mr. Earl and Mr. Stokes said, everything that we're doing in the district is about systemic change and to create those long-term results in the schools, but will also be felt in the community. And oftentimes with systemic change, we have to get down to what the root causes are, and most times it's not going to be a straight line. So you've seen this before, but this is kind of what we are doing in the school in order to continue to create that change. It is a continual circle from Leader in Me to trauma-informed care to restorative practices. Go on. Yes. What we are seeing is, and I'm calling this slide the village, what we are seeing is that the change that we need to see in our schools cannot just be done through our teachers and our school staff. We have to reach back out to the families and to the communities to see how we can support. What we often hear when we are having parent meetings or care team meetings or hope team meetings with our families, a lot of our families are struggling with parenting. Back from when I was younger, and definitely back from when I was parenting, when we are hearing parents say, my child rages when I take the PlayStation away, or when I take their Game Boy away, or when I take their phone away. They lose it, they go off, they won't go to sleep. And some of you may think, well, in my household, that would only last for about 5 seconds. Miss Lane, I don't know, right? The PlayStation is not going to be an issue, but these are some of the realities our families are dealing with, and so we wanted to create a space where the whole goal is to just give families an opportunity to talk about the struggles of parenting and to be a support to one another. So the Parent Connect series that's called the Parent Empowerment Series Overview is held during the day every single month. And October through December, it's in Cadwallader. January through March will be at Grant. April through June, it will be at MLK. But it is open to all parents. I have attended these, and it is powerful, some of the conversations that you hear parents talking about. Everything from what can they expect from their child at certain ages, to things that deal with child custody, and when mom and dad are not necessarily on the same page, and sometimes not even speaking, how do do you raise a child with a shared vision if both parents aren't even able to communicate? And then some of the struggles of social media and the pressures of just our young people are under, even in first, second, and third grade, with wanting to have a cell phone, and then they have a cell phone, and then they have access, right, to the big, gigantic internet, and how do parents manage that? So that series is incredibly powerful and is providing our parents with an outlet. And then in order to make sure that we are providing our parents with the same education and knowledge and words that our teachers and our staff have gone through with trauma-informed care, we have the Healing Heart series, which is building your child's emotional backpack. Again, these are series that are held at multiple schools every single month to talk about what do you do when you see that your child is under stress? How do you manage the stress of your child? How do you manage the stress of being a parent, right? And what's up with your child's behavior? And again, that varies based on their age. And, how do we support our parents in understanding some of those behaviors are developmental, with young people wanting to push back and to secure their own independence? And how do you assist them and also protect them in the same way? So we have these series that are going on multiple times at multiple schools, at multiple different times in the evening and in the morning, in order to support our parents in this work. Again, systemic change is not going to be a straight line, and we are continuing to peel back the onion and figure out what are some of the root causes, so that when we work together as a community, we'll see the changes not only in our school but also in our community. All right, thank you.
Just one question. This is phenomenal, but I'm just curious, do we have good attendance? Are parents coming?
We do. At our Parent Connect, the Parent Empowerment Series, we have it in a small group, so there's probably 25 to 30 families that attend, and we could be there for about 3 or 4 hours. Because when sometimes families come with a lot of heaviness on their heart that they just need to express. And I think that is the perfect size for what we have going on. Because it really is to provide resources and to have conversations, and we want it to be in an intimate environment. For our Healing Heart series, it really has fluctuated. We have schools that are specific to just doing the program for a bilingual program, and then we have schools that, which means all of the information that's provided is done in Spanish, because again, we wanted to give families the opportunity to have the full program and not us do split, half in English, half in Spanish, because again, our goal is to provide a venue for parents to start to talk about how they can work collaboratively with their children. So we've had upwards of, Dr. Conway, of the number of participants, the high number of participants. Yeah, like about 60. And we, again, have about 2 to 3 sites at each visit, at each date. Thank you. Yes.
So it's available for all parents, right?
All parents, any school, you can go to any of those programs.
Okay, and then I guess the next question is related to that. How are we communicating this particular program? Because I think it's invaluable, right, to parents on a regular basis.
I am glad you asked. If you look at so it's all over social media, it's on our social media pages, but we're also working very closely with our public relations office to redo our district website a little bit as it pertains to the parent series. So we will continue to have the icon for Parent Connect, but we're also, as soon as you see it, it's going to hit you right in the face, all of the parent programs that are happening at any and all of the schools, right? So right now we're doing it for our district-wide programs. In January, you will see us listing all of the programs at any of the schools, because we want, wouldn't it be great if we were overrun with the number of parents coming to any one program? And if there is a program that is going on at Parker School, surely we can open that up to parents all around the district who would want to attend. So you're going to start to see that change, but if you look now, you will actually start to see the events that we have in December and January already listed front and center on the in the news section part of our district website. In addition, we are going to be taking over doing the robocall, so it's not just on the schools. So at the district level, we're going to be doing robocalls to all of our families to announce these events.
Okay, just one more, I'm sorry. So, Jesus Christ, I forgot that quick. Oh my God. Shucks. What was it? Never mind. I'll ask you on the side.
While Jean is thinking, one and these third graders got me thinking is maybe short video clips from some of the parents, if they feel comfortable about how wonderful this is for us and whatever, might be an idea for parents to recruit other parents.
That's a great idea.
Now I got it. Okay. So you mentioned some of the programs were during the day.
Yes.
Are they available in the evenings also? Because some parents work.
Absolutely. So the Parent Empowerment Series is during the day, and our Healing Heart Series goes from 5:30 to 7. And the Parent Empowerment is at 9 a.m. All right, and I'll be back up here before y'all go into executive session to film you guys. Thank you. Mr. Stokes?
They can answer too.
You need a particular slide, or you're good?
Yeah, it sounds low, right? Yeah, it's actually not on, so here's mine. All right, cool, thanks. We'll share. Thank you. My questions. All right, so they're mostly focused on two, separate thoughts, all right? The first one had to do with some of the bullying that was coming in. I know you explained that HIB, right? Like all of that process has to be specifically documented, written down, right? You have to fill out a specific form for an investigation to continue, right? Or to begin. But I guess where I'm coming from, like a lot of this is coming, as you were saying, from social media and cyberbullying. How much of this is correlated with a lot of the reports that come in? Like, because I know it's just an ongoing issue with cyberbullying.
So HIB is its own separate reporting requirement within the SSDS system. So we can have a suspension that's related to a founded allegation of HIB, or we can have a suspension that's related to an unfounded allegation of HIB, right? It can be that something happened that wasn't HIB. So at times there's a correlation, other times there isn't. Of the investigations that we've had, I don't believe that we have any suspensions that were given out as a result of a founded HIB, because it's about now how do we address the victim as well as the perpetrator. So oftentimes there's some counseling that takes place at the school level for that, right? So suspension is not always going to be the outcome of a founded claim of HIB.
Okay, gotcha.
Did that answer your question?
I had something.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Specifically about social media, in most of the situations that you see that results in a fight or a conflict, there is always going to, probably 98% of the time, an underlying thing that's happening on social media or text messages on, Instagram or whatever. And so that is a huge problem because we don't control a child's phone. And in some cases, we can't take a child's phone. But that social media is definitely connected to a lot of the conflicts that we see happening in schools.
Okay, got you. And I guess the ongoing problem is because it happens, outside of the four walls of the school, we just deal with it when it specifically happens in the school, right? Mostly to a certain extent, right?
So we deal with it when it comes to our attention, right? Sometimes the schools get advanced information about something that's taken place that started on social media, And the culture and climate specialists at the schools that have them are jumping on that stuff immediately to try to resolve the issue. And oftentimes they're able to resolve it in that moment. But now we got the peanut gallery, right, that wants to come in and chime in and make their comments about it. And I've sat in many of the restorative conferences that they've had with students, and the parting words for each of them is always, what happens in here stays in here. If people ask you about it, please don't respond, right? Even if they reach out to you on social media. Now, as adults, we can handle that oftentimes, but sometimes with our children, our young people, they're unable to manage that whole process. And if I get enough people sending me stuff that someone said or someone allegedly said, I'm going to react at some point.
Gotcha. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for both for those answers. And since we're on the topic with these restorative justice hubs, amazing idea, amazing concept. I know a lot of community partners are involved in it. It's been a conversation that's been happening for a while. So, you know, really excited for that being placed. I think it's on Front Street, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. So please just keep us updated. I don't know, the super mentioned that we have an MOU with them to work with it. So please keep us updated with the results of that, right? I know that's something that, you know, we all would love to hear. I guess the last thing I had to say was just, I think you mentioned that there were some students that, you know, you go through the restorative justice hubs and like you go through the circles and X, Y, and Z, but some people still just want to fight, I think you said. Speaking of community partnerships, do we have any partnerships with organizations that do boxing or anything like that? I know, like, you know, what was it, Guns Down, Gloves Up? They have like an annual thing. There's a few other boxing gyms out here that work with a lot of kids. You know, is that something that we're pursuing as well? Because, you know, it's a good, listen, I do have tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., all right? I'm getting out all my angry, all right, on the bag. So, you know, is that something that we're looking at?
All right, so we've definitely actually started that already.
Okay, nice.
At Capital City. Mike Hilton, who's part of one of the street teams, also a championship boxer, he came in, I brought him into Capital City in October. And there are about 4 students now who are involved in his gym.
Good.
Sometimes cost is a factor, right? So there are a few that, not to put my business out there, that I'm covering personally to participate in this, but sometimes cost is a factor, and Mike has been really trying to work with that. So that is an option that we've started, and we're looking to see if there are more students who would benefit from participating in that.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you for those updates.
I would like to hear the opinion of the team, and certainly you as well, Superintendent. This is probably a very unpopular view, but given all the issues you talk about with our students and social media, I don't know that we have a policy about cell phones in schools. And obviously, especially the older kids, I assume on their lunch break or whatever, they can just check their phones. And so I'm just curious if there's been discussion, and I'd love to hear from the team about their thoughts of somehow restricting that, at least during the school hours, that might, you know, I'm just curious what people think.
So there's lots of research out there, and many districts now banning cell phone use throughout the district. I think that we're going to have to engage this entire community around some structure that supports the mental health of young people. I've seen some in-between measures where you have parking lots and classrooms where when the students walk in, based on what the teacher decides to do, you can park your phone. That's called if you think about it, if you're on it all the time and we can meet you halfway, put your phone here for half the class or maybe the whole class depending on what's happening, because right now they have powerful devices with the one-to-one initiative. So what we know is that I won't be able to stand here or sit here as superintendent and say, we're banning cell phones. So we need a coordinated community effort around the dangers of the cell phone, what we see in some of this data and how the cell phone connects to the places that create some of this. And so we have that conversation going on, and the team knows that I'm eyeing the 25-26 school year for something to move us in that direction. I don't know about banning. I would love to see if we can teach and create spaces where our students use them responsibly. But who knows? I mean, we might just decide, because we have to make that next move in academic achievement and everything that we do. And is that the thing that pushes us there so students can pay attention in the rooms? And so anybody who argues against that, no, I mean, we're just saying, so what about children who can't focus? And as Ms. Grant talked about a few minutes ago, parents talking about their students raging when they take the games, the cell phones, and things like that. So our responsibility will be to find a way to disrupt and interrupt that. So that's the goal going forward. And they haven't been in that conversation yet, but for 25-26, I would engage like the association leaders, teachers, board members, myself, parents, and a big group to really talk about what's the next move for us in Trenton. So that's the goal.
You know, Superintendent, if any other schools in Mercer County have done anything about this?
Not that I know of. Yeah. I'm in multiple meetings around spaces, and maybe some people here know of others. I don't know anyone who's gone with a total ban, but they're dealing with the same issues we're dealing with. And I just thought there seems to be ways that we can meet students and families halfway, so that we know in the age of communication, maybe there is a need to be connected. However, there are more districts, if you watch news reports, that are banning. Every week I see one more. And so the research is telling us our students are struggling in that process. And so if we can't fix it, we may pursue that also.
So how exciting, Trenton will be another first in the county.
So.
Yeah, we do that. We do the same thing in the surrounding district. I'm an administrator in Lawrence. So in Lawrence, this year we started no cell phones in instructional space, in instructional times. And it's a heavy lift, but this is the first year we're doing it. So we'll let you know how we do. And yeah. I'm sure you speak to Robin a lot, so we'll keep you informed. But it is happening in another district. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Well, happy holidays, everyone. Have a blessed New Year.
Moving on, we will now have our committee chairs present their reports for the month. I'll start to my right with Austin.
I think the mic is working now. Listen, I used to tear computers apart as a kid, so I got some actual usable skills, not the lawyer part. Anyway, with the HR committee, we have it's a fairly similar report to the ones that you've seen in the past. As always, we have a plethora of opportunities for people to come into the district. I know, weekly we're trying to get out the information both on social media and other platforms of different opportunities that are available. I think this past week we had 19 opportunities for people to come into the district. So we're constantly hiring people, allowing people into the district to be a part of this great work. Other than that, we have a few, normal stuff, retirements that are coming in, different stipends and the like for people that are pursuing different educational opportunities or coming to be assisting us in the work with the district. So pretty normal HR report from like we have from month to month.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I serve on the Family and Community Engagement Committee as chair with my fellow board members, Austin Edwards, Denise Johnson, of course, Mr. Earl. Many of the conversations in our committee meeting this month were presented in this meeting. Hope presented a lot of things around, the Healing Heart series as well as the Empowerment series, and the Department of Family and Community Engagement with Denise Crease as a coordinator there. spending a lot of time communicating with parents, and the heavy lift has always been, in my decade on the board, is getting the parents to actually participate and come out. So to have 40 plus or 30 plus parents, 10 here, 10 there, come out to different series is a win for us as a district, because we're meeting the parents where they are, whether it be during the day, whether it be in the evening time. We try to balance out, as I understand it, the different times that we actually have various series around the parent, whether it be Parent Connect, whether it be Healing Hearts, whether it be the Empowerment series. So many of the conversations that we had in our committee meeting centered around the work that Hope just presented and her team just presented through Terrence Stokes and the attendance officers presented tonight. One of the things that we also had a conversation about with the superintendent is around his quarterly updates to the board, but also reflective of that work to the community. We like to encourage everyone to invite people out. Our next one for our quarterly update will be in February with our superintendent going over our 5-year strategic plan. It's a lot of data, so it's not like a movie or a video that people are more interested in, but it's great information to find out where we are in the district, where our trajectory is, the things we're working on, our successes, our challenges that we're facing. So our next one is in February, and then we'll have 2 more after that. We'll have 4 a year this year, and so I want to encourage you to invite people to come to hear our superintendent and his team present on the implementation of our 5-year strategic plan. And in fact, we're up to renew our 5-year strategic plan going into our 2025 session. So we'll share more information about that. Also, in terms of policy committee, I serve on the policy committee as well with my colleagues, and we have a first reading and a second reading of our series, 1000 series, which focuses on administration for a second reading tonight, about 12 policies around that particular series of administration. And then we have a first reading on our 2000 series, which focuses on program. And there's about 13 policies in this particular set for our first reading for this month. So there's a lot of reading, board members, and over the next couple of months throughout the rest of this year, we're going to go series by series through the policies, updating our policies. So 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, we'll present those policies in that order according to that number. We don't want to give you too much to read, so we're trying to limit them in our conversation on our committee. Mr. Roll is general counsel on the committee. We decided to try to limit it between 12 and 13, maybe 15 if we can squeeze in, but some small policies in there so you can have an opportunity for 30 days, to read those policies and come back with any questions that you might have, either prior to the second reading or at that second reading. So there's not substantial changes to those policies. We can pass those policies at the second reading if you have some small or minor changes to those policies. So we're moving right ahead with our policy work, and we'll continue that work throughout the year. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. The facilities meeting the committee met on December 10th. Myself and Larry Traylor were in attendance for the board, as well as Superintendent, Ms. Howard, and Mr. Mosley. The current issue going on right now is the old Junior 1 building. The project is currently on hold still because the Waste Management Company has placed the contractor's account on hold to determine and review whether the demolition materials and the contaminants are properly being identified and labeled. There does seem to be some hazardous stuff being dumped. But once that's resolved, the project will start up again. Capital maintenance projects going on. Harrison, they've issued the purchase orders for the HVAC projects. We have district-wide electrical upgrades going on at Harrison, Franklin, and Cadwalader. We're working together with PSE&G to get this done. They're adding an elevator to Harrison School to make that school ADA compliant. And that project is beginning, and what's going to happen is they will build the elevator shaft actually on the outside of the building, and it'll connect to the building, so that way everybody will have access to it. Currently at the Ziegler building, which is the warehouse building, the business office has received the contractor bids, and the low bidder was missing the required documentation in their bid package, resulting in them being disqualified. The second lowest bidder is being awarded the contract, and the project kickoff meetings are scheduled for early in January 2025. The project's duration for the complete is the summer of 2025. The YMCA purchase, the district is reaching out to schedule meetings with the current owner because the conditions are worsening due to vagrants and people living in the abandoned building. So we want to get that a little more secure. And that's pretty much it for this month. That's it.
Okay, so good evening. The Curriculum Committee met on Tuesday, December the 10th, and at that time we reviewed board agenda items and a few updates from the Special Education Department. So in terms of that, we noted that the agenda items were not as lengthy as they have been in the past because it was a quick turnaround. There are a number of amendments that are there because the language needed to be aligned or the gap code needed to be revised. We also talked a little bit about new programming being offered in terms of ESL classes for parents or guardians at Grant School, and then there will be additional opportunities for district-wide offerings for staff members, so that again, the program would be offered again to staff members as well as parents and guardians, one from school-based and the other from the district. Also on the agenda were a number of multicultural offerings. There is support for the arts, including music therapy. So music therapy is going to be offered, and I did not list the location, but again, music therapy is going to be incorporated. There's also items relative to early reading and intervention programming, and also mentoring opportunities. There are items that are relative to support for inclusive educational practices, and of course, a variety of student trips were listed. And again, the students are being exposed to the theater, various colleges, the zoo, as well as City Hall functioning. So students are being exposed to things outside of the classroom. In terms of special needs, we talked about the existence of a couple of special education vacancies. We talked about attendance initiatives to reward students who have good attendance, and also we talked about behavior analysts that are working very closely with staff, and also again, there was one other thing that we talked about, and that was professional development that was aimed at pre-K inclusion and self-contained teachers regarding behavioral support strategies. So that was the agenda for the Curriculum Committee for this month.
And so this is a report for the Operations and Finance Committee. We reviewed transfers, the Secretary's report, Treasurer's report. It was a short month, only $15,179,000 were paid. And I guess a couple of things stood out for me during this meeting is one, I'm kind of excited about the Entrepreneur Startup Workshop for teens. So often our children go to school and they go to school to get a job. Well, the really nice thing about this is it'll drive students not only to get a job, but potentially be a job maker, right? And so I'm really excited to see the outcomes of that. And then so glad that we've extended or amended the agreement between the Trenton Housing Authority and the school district. It was outlined that there's some things that got in the way, and so we've extended that for another year because we're in real support of that. And I'm excited. I'm waiting around to get a number of students that are participating in what we call share time. So they go to our schools during the day, and then Mercer County Technical Schools half-day, because the trades is a huge opportunity when you think back to that entrepreneur thing, for folks to get the skills necessary to build a business, but also create jobs for others. So I'm still very, very excited about that opportunity for our children. I didn't see in this particular month, probably because it was only a couple of weeks ago, a list of donations. But for those people who have donated, and it'll show up in the next month, thank you very much for your support for our children.
Thank you. At this time, we will address concerns presented at our last board meeting, November 25th. We had one of our parents, Sandra Marin, come in to discuss her child's one-to-one placement. She was seeking assistance and proper placement for her child because she did not have that placement. In response, she was told that the one-to-one placement resigned from the grant school assignment, and that created a lapse in service. Kelly Services was in the process of recruiting and onboarding individuals for that position. The Special Education Department, principal, and Kelly Services worked together to resolve the vacancy in a short amount of time, as they were able to reassign another paraeducator as a result of a student move. Excuse me, another of our parents, Amanda Eli, one of our teachers, had questions about dyslexia. She wanted to know who was in charge of screening dyslexia students. She was told that classroom teachers begin the process of screening for dyslexia by gathering data. The teacher will be supported by the principal, content supervisor, and/or special supervisor when appropriate. She wanted to know what is the universal screener in K-3 schools. The answer to that is DRA, Foundations, and Linkit. Her other question was, why are students not being screened by the first semester of second grade? All students are screened multiple times per year. Next question was, can the district provide more training for teachers? The district embeds annual dyslexia training through GCN and will continue to support teachers if additional training is needed. She wanted to know if there were any dyslexic kids downtown. If so, where could they be located, and could she be trained to use the kit? At present, there are no kits to screen students for dyslexia. Her last question was, how long should it be appropriate to get an email response from a supervisor? The district works to respond to requests in a reasonable time, hopefully between 24 through 48 hours. District administrators reached out to the staff member to schedule the meeting for further discussion and support. We also had Michael Jones requesting support, dyslexia support for his child. In response, the assistant superintendent communicated with parent regarding his concerns prior to the public speaking section during the November Board of Education meeting. A follow-up email was sent to the teacher, and data on students have been gathered and is in the process of being analyzed. Further classroom visitations and meetings to discuss student support will continue, and support will be provided to staff where appropriate. Parent was also informed that there will be a follow-up communication after data has been analyzed, discussed, and a solution has been reached. We had Reverend Jose Rodriguez from the Rodriguez Foundation share information about FAFSA laws, and in response, we were told that beginning with the 2023-2024 11th grade class, and for 2 school years thereafter, students and their guardians will be required to complete and submit either the free application for federal student aid, which is the FAFSA, or the New Jersey Alternative Financial Aid application as guided by the Higher Education Student Assistance Authority in order to receive their high school diploma. There are 3 ways for students to meet this graduation requirement. 1, to complete and submit the FAFSA. 2, to complete and submit the New Jersey Alternative Financial Aid application. And 3, complete and submit the waiver form. Moving on now to public participation. I just want to say that the Trenton Public School District welcomes the attendance and comments from all members of the public at its meetings. This public comment period is your time to be heard on any school or school district issue that a member of the public may feel is of concern to the residents of the school district. Each person who signed up to comment will have 5 minutes. You will be notified when your 5 minutes are up. You cannot yield your time to another person. When it is your turn to speak, please address all of your comments to the board president. Please conduct yourself in a respectful and courteous manner. For anyone whose comments or actions either harass, intimidate, or threaten the safety of any person, we will provide you with a warning or immediately end your comment time. Also, if you curse, use vulgar language, or make personal attacks, we will provide you with a warning or end your comment time. Comments that adhere to these guidelines will not be interrupted. If you have any questions, please ask your questions during your 5-minute comment period. After the public comment period is closed, the board superintendent or designee will address your questions to the extent provided by the law. We also ask that members of the public not interrupt the speaker during their public comment time. And please excuse the way my voice sounds right now. Okay. Is Paul Bethea here then? Yeah. Okay. First parent up, Paul Bethea.
First of all, good evening, board. God bless you all. Thank you. I stand before y'all tonight. I'm very concerned about the school board. The schools. First of all, Monument School. My grandson go there, and I went to pick him up, and I didn't even know it's locked down like Fort Knox. So I tried to go to the principal office. They said I couldn't go. I ain't never been to no school. I just couldn't go to the principal office, and I know y'all got metal detectors. If you clear a medical detector, you should be able to go right to the principal office and meet the principal for any kind of concern that I have for my grandson. And by the way, while I was standing there, a lady came out and said that, "Oh, I'm glad I met you," because he was very disrespectful. But come to find out, that wasn't true. She talked about something that happened a year ago, so that wasn't true. So it just went on, and I kept waiting. I asked the guard, let me go to the office. He said, no, you have to do this and have to do that. I said, so what's in that school, gold? I ain't never seen nothing. What's in the school, gold? And he said, no, I just can't let you in. But then he lets a cop in, and I said, well, how you gonna let him in? And he got a weapon on him. How you trust him? I ain't got no weapon on me. I ain't never seen a public building that's shut down like that, and you can't go in and meet the principal or meet who you need to meet, to address your concerns. So that's why I'm standing before y'all tonight. Why is that the only school? I go to the school up there in Cal Waters with Miss Bethea at. They let you in, you go in to the thing, you sign in, and you go right to the principal office. I go to Junior 3 that should be named Mama Mika's school. I don't know why it's named Junior 3 anymore. It should be named Mama Mika's because As I was coming, I'm gonna switch it, I'm gonna go back. When I was coming up, she fed us when we was hungry, she raised us. She did the things that these young ladies are doing today. I go there, you sign in, boom, you go right upstairs. But when I go to Monument School, you can't go in. You know, that's a real concern because I hear people standing up here tonight is addressing the issue about these children that's on social media. You know, how they accessing their phone and everything, you know. But these kids outthinking us. You know, they got their own web line, they got their own thing, how they do things. When we beat one way, they're gonna get you another way. But anyway, I need y'all to address that issue because I got custody of my grandkids. And if they get out of line, I address it right there. I don't go to bed and if he disrespect anybody and let it be unturned. I'm a very concerned grandfather. I'm not gonna raise them up to disrespect no elders. I don't care who you are, black, white, green, and purple. If we got a problem in school, we're gonna address it in school, and whatever they said, I'm gonna evaluate the situation, and then we'll go from there.
You have 30 seconds.
Huh?
You have 30 seconds left.
Thank you. Mr. Copeland, I want to say something to you. Thank you for telling me. I have some names in my pocket that you said that you need to look at the women that was honored in Trenton, 2 women, 3, 4 women, you need to look at and think about, consider their names, like Mama Mika's for Junior 3, and there's other names on here. That's great names that 2 black women that got, I think, the blue ribbon or something like that they should be honored too, like Dr. Copeland. So y'all did a good job on them. But I like to say thank you for allowing me to speak. But hook me up with the right people where I can go see mine. Thank you. Can I give this to you? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, Darren Freedom Green.
Good evening, Superintendent Earl, Board President, Board members, Darren Freedom Green. My first point is to remind the board that our winter sports season starts. We're back at it tomorrow at the high school, Brother Gene. Babies are back at it. Basketball. But I received a few texts from some of the other babies who said and reminded me that along with the football field and basketball court, we also have a state-of-the-art pool that I haven't seen. So I apologize to them, and I want us to make sure we support all of our babies doing the great work that they're doing. I think sports becomes a conduit or a space where we can engage. Many of our families are struggling with poverty and working 2 and 3 jobs, and they're unable to support or attend the games. And when we approach, whether it be community advocates or leadership or board members, we become the family members that they need to see in the stands, and it also becomes a great opportunity to engage in dialogue. So many of our babies have dreams of being great sports figures. I don't have a problem with that, but I always ask them, what's the plan if you're not in the sports? And again, they graduate with no plan and then they're lost. So again, I think with the sports season starting, it's a great opportunity for us to show our presence, to advocate, to educate and empower them. Second, I want to salute the elder Brother Gene for keeping the community aware of the weed dispensaries and what's going on with that topic. The board needs to be aware there's an ongoing movement to bring those kind of issues to our community. Anybody who thinks it's a joke, just remember some months back, maybe a year ago or so, right at Southern and Brunswick, right across from MLK. It was a barbershop, but before that, it is a barbershop now, but before that, it was a weed dispensary. And again, they are very comfortable bringing that kind of stuff into black and brown communities because we're asleep. And I want to again thank the elder for making us aware of the planning board. I think their golden objective is because he put the spotlight on them to wait a few months till nobody's paying attention and to bring it right back to the table. So as board members, community members, we need to show up at those meetings and make sure they know that's unacceptable on our watch. They don't do it in affluent communities, Austin. You know that. You speak about it with the NAACP. But they're comfortable doing it because many of us are asleep at the wheel or just not attending those meetings, and we need to do that. And last, I want to thank and salute Assistant Superintendent Grant for great work with the Zoom call last week, with engaging the community on coming together and working with the superintendent and the board with the attendance issue. It's going to be a great movement, but I just want us to understand that the issue really isn't us now moving to deal with just attendance, but really the issues that cause the lack of attendance, right? And some of it is the value or lack of value for education. As a young man coming up, my community valued education, right? And you were not allowed to stand outside stores at 10, 11 o'clock, and an older brother or sister didn't engage you. That's gone now. Like, people are comfortable seeing our babies conditioned to failure. And I just think when we make this movement, we've got to work on rebuilding the value system for education. Again, when I came up, young brothers who were 5%ers stood on corners and ciphers and talked about sound traveling at 1,120 feet per second. That inspired me to get knowledgeable on the knowledge. And I valued speaking, and that's part of what brought me to where I'm at now. And I just think if we don't rebuild the value system for education, we don't rebuild the value system for our communities, and we don't build a value system for ourselves and careers, we will just have another emotional moment. And again, I can prove it by the election is over, and you don't hear anybody talking civics or civic education or agenda or platforms. Nobody's asking any questions now because that season is over. But the problems that persist due to our lack of understanding of civics are at us every day, right? And we know what's going to happen over these 4 years. And I'm not worried about Trump or any other individual, because I know if we're doing our work on the ground, then we'll make a residual impact on the people, the places, and things that are here. But I just wanted to come down and give some good news that we're doing some great work, but there are monumental issues, problems, and concerns that need our attention. I'll close by one of my favorite sayings by Mr. Baldwin, that the perpetual idea of coming along in communities where we don't come along just becomes an idea, and those people are destined to never arrive. I hope this city can arrive at a place where hope, education, and empowerment come the norm. And I want to salute you for the work that you're doing and continue to work with you to build a better Trenton. God bless you.
Thank you. At this time, the table is open. If any of the members have any comments, Jeannie?
I had the pleasure of attending Bruce Boyd's Capital City Rowing Regatta on Saturday at Gilmer School. And once again, it was an excellent event. His numbers of students have increased. I think there were 4 or 5 times as many boys in the program now as there were last time. So you can see it's having a difference, and the kids had a great time. And the STEM to Stern impact of it, I think, is a really creative idea on how to get these kids learning without even knowing they're doing it. But it really was a good program.
Any other comments?
Yeah. Brother Freed mentioned about this weed store, right? I am fighting to keep that from happening. I actually took a little wheel that people do for fencing, and I walked it off myself. The ordinance says 750 feet. It's only 450 feet from the door of 359 Suite 13 to the Big Y where the preschool is. But as Brother said, they've canceled the planning board meetings, or they didn't hear this particular item for 2 months.
They will be presenting in January.
You're sure that they were supposed to present in December,
They will
November
present
too?
in January.
So what I would ask is that for those people that are watching this, if we don't speak for our children, who will? And it's as simple as this, because I don't have a problem with a guy trying to earn a living, right? It's legal now, but it doesn't have to be in the face of our babies. What example do we give them when you have the clientele going in and out of a weed shop within eyesight? They play in the playground, for Christ's sakes. So So, you know, you see I'm on my soapbox, and I'm a man of my word. I will fight this, even if I have to fight by myself. So that was it. Thank you.
But you don't have to worry about fighting by yourself. Okay.
Now, I had the conversation with Louise McCants, CEO of YMCA, a week ago. She mentioned about that issue. So keep us informed, keep me informed. We text one another. So when that planning board meeting comes, I'll be there. All right, we'll be there. All right?
I think it's January 26th, I believe. I think so, yeah. Okay.
I just want to say, before you close comment, I just want to say that I appreciated seeing the Gregory School students here, because we invested a lot in technology and students having, one-to-one pieces of technology. So it's great to see them expanding the way that technology is being utilized, and in creative ways, like a video newspaper. I love it, right? And so actually having them to interview different people and interact and just create things that are something that we probably never thought about, right? So again, it's just good to see our technology investment being utilized.
Yes.
And the other thing is that we really need to make the public aware of the translation devices that we now have for the Spanish and for the Creole. I think we slacked on that. So for next month's meeting, we need to do better, and as far as that's concerned, because we want to see more parents attending our meetings. Having said that, is there any discussion? Do you have any questions on the consent agenda?
Yes, I do. Letter S on the finance agenda, which is the approval of or the extension, I guess, of 1 year for the project with the Trenton Housing Authority. I was hoping that the superintendent could just give a brief update. I understand from Jeannie's report the reason on our end that they will need additional time because we haven't cleared the space yet. But if you could kindly, just for the public, just give an update as to where your understanding of where the Trenton Housing Authority is with their project.
So yes, we had an agreement with the Trenton Housing Authority that we signed off on to provide the land where Junior 1 is located. I don't know the exact address, we were due to have that land cleared within 2 months, starting in August. So maybe September, October, it was supposed to be clear, but we did run into some issues. One of the vendors who was removing or doing the demolition part ran into some issues, and then of course we're on hold because we have to determine where some of the dirt and I guess the things that come out, the contaminants, will go. And we have to wait until someone else decides what takes place in that process, as Jeannie mentioned in her report. So we wanted to extend the agreement for another year, or at least until we get clear. It's our goal as soon as we start back up. I mean, if you go there, there's only one portion. That's the portion close to Southern Street. Yes, it's still up, and so they have to clear that part. The rest of it's pretty much down, and there's a piece in the back, and then we'll, I guess, level out the land and then talk with THA about turning it over. There's also the issue of the grant award. There was an expected grant award of $50 million. They came in short of that, but we've been in conversation about our agreement for land swap. And so THA has committed, at least verbally, and we're going to get more information, that is still a possibility in their plans. They will keep their side of the agreement, as we will. And so right now we're getting through. We need to get it demolished, get it cleared, get it leveled, and I think we'll have more information about that process. But we extended the agreement because we weren't done on our end, and there were questions regarding that. It was due to expire at the end of this month. So we needed to put more time on the clock to let us do our part to honor our end of the agreement. And then we'll continue to have the discussion about the land swap and the location, and probably still in that area. I think there's spaces identified in my preliminary conversations, and I'll bring that to the board when we confirm.
The original agreement is exactly the same. Nothing has been amended other than the year extension.
Other than extending.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, but on their end, they still have a significant amount of money that they need to raise.
Yes. And in my conversations, they are working to secure everything that they need to secure to do what they needed to do, because this was, as much as it was about Junior 1, it was redeveloping that area. And so they're still committed to that. And we want to stay as committed as we have been with them through this process. And I'll keep the board informed if we need to pivot, or I'll bring information. I know that I don't make decisions on my own, so I'll certainly bring it forward if anything changes in that process.
The reason I brought it up is that you know better than anyone how many kids we have in our district.
Yes.
And we're going to need a new school.
Yes.
So that's why we hope we don't perpetuate this for much longer.
Yeah.
Because we're going to need land.
Yeah. I think we're moving. I mean, each opportunity we get to identify space in this city, we need clear land for the public. We need clear land for the SDA, School Development Authority, to consider building a school. There's no guarantee, but when they get funding, if we have space, they can put us on a priority list, just like they're doing with the space over near the Dunn site. So we hope to, and then to try to get ahead of what we know are aging buildings, and that may come offline at any point in time. And I think our team's done a good job of keeping the buildings up and running, but we have to be prepared every day as if we might have to pivot. And so that makes us nervous, but this gives us an opportunity. We have a new building in that area that will hold about 800 students, and if we can get one on this side, about the same, because the big grades are 4, 5, and 6, and the K3s, they're all big. And so, and of course, we'd love to have another high school. So I think we would, another 2,200, student high school with all the trimmings. So, but we'll keep doing that work. You're welcome. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments on the consent agenda? In that case, may I please have a motion to approve it?
Approve.
Second.
We gotcha.
Roll call, Yolanda Lopez.
Yes.
Gerald Trueheart.
Yes.
Jean Bowie.
Yes.
Addie Daniel Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards.
Yes.
Denise Johnson, absent. Sasa Montagna. Yes. Larry Traylor.
Yes.
Jeannie Weeklam.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great. I just want to say, guys, since we do have new microphones, we don't actually have to get so close to them because then it sounds too muffled. These are really good, so let's keep them at a distance. And for the very last time, I will be reading the executive session resolution. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, codified as NJSA, paragraph 10:4-6, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting under certain circumstances, and whereas the Trenton Board of Education is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, indicated as follows: any material considered confidential by federal law, state statute, or court rule, any pending or anticipated litigation or contract negotiations to which the board is or may become a party to, and any matter falling within the attorney-client privilege to the extent that confidentiality is required to preserve the attorney-client relationship and allow the attorney to exercise his/her ethical duty as a lawyer for the following matters. 1, approval of interim assistant superintendent contracts, WO, settlement in the matter of LP, Trenton Board of Education and Trenton Education Association docket number CO-2022-098. 4, tort claim notice in the matter of IC. 5, negotiations update. Now therefore be it resolved by the Trenton Board of Education, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, that an executive session will be held on December 16, 2024, for the statutorily permissible purposes indicated in this resolution. Be it further resolved that action may be taken by the board when it reconvenes in open session. Be it finally resolved that the minutes of the executive session with regard to the above subject matter shall be disclosed to the public at a later date and to the extent that the same is not prejudicial to the interest of the parties involved, no longer adverse to the public interest, or does not endanger any individual's right to privacy. We're now a motion to adjourn into executive session, please.
Austin Edwards. So the second.
Roll call. Yolanda Lopez.
Yes.
Gerald Trueheart. Gene Bowie.
Yes.
Addie Daniel Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards.
Yes.
Denise Johnson, absent. Sasa Montano. Larry Trailer.
Yes.
Gina Weekman.
Yes.
Adjourn to executive session.
All right, board members, remember, right down here if you give me 5 minutes, she's going to make a quick video.
Does this work? Yeah.
This Trenton Board of Education meeting is reconvened. May I please have a motion to approve the interim assistant superintendent contract?
I move that we approve the assistant superintendent contract.
I second.
Roll call. Yolanda Lopez.
Yes.
Gerald Trueheart. Yes. Gene Bowie.
Yes.
Addie Daniels Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards.
Yes.
Denise Johnson absent. Sasa Montana.
Yes.
Larry Trailer.
Yes.
Jeannie Weigland.
Yes.
Motion passed.
May I have another motion for settlement in the matter of LP?
I motion for us to move settlement in a matter of LP.
I second.
Roll call. Yolanda Lopez.
Yes.
Gerald Trueheart. Yes. Gene Bowie. Yes. Addie Daniels Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards.
Yes.
Denise Johnson absent. Sasa Montana.
Yes.
Larry Trailer.
Yes.
Jeannie Weigland.
Yes.
Motion passed.
May we have a motion for the Trenton Board of Education and Trenton Education Association docket number CO 2022-098?
I move that we approve the agreement between TEA and Trenton Board of Education.
I, Austin Edwards, second that motion.
Roll call. Yolanda Lopez.
Yes.
Gerald Trueheart. Yes. Gene Bowie. Addie Daniels Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards.
Yes.
Denise Johnson absent. Sasa Montana.
Yes.
Larry Trailer.
Yes.
Jeannie Weigland.
Yes.
Motion passed.
A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
You did it.
I did it.